Hello everyone. Today I was going to talk about a story from a long time ago. This is Reaper. Reaper, say hi. He stole this ball from my friend's dog, and my friend's dog is a little beagle. That's why the ball's so tiny, and he stole it from her in the dog park, never gave it back. He actually carried it all the way back to my apartment, and he never carries any balls. He always drops them as soon as he gets them. But I'm gonna be sharing the story of all the homeless people I used to know back in downtown Orlando, and their unfortunate endings too. I don't know why I was thinking of this. I was thinking maybe I should do like some kind of story time, and then I just got this random memory of this homeless guy who was my friend, and then yeah, he was murdered. So to start this off, I have to give you guys some background. I used to go to UCF. I graduated in Orlando, and in Orlando, when people say Orlando, you think of Disney and you think of Universal Studios, and that's true, but it's like 40 minutes away. Then in the middle of that, like 30-ish minutes, 20-ish minutes, you have downtown Orlando. Downtown Orlando is really ratchet. Very. But it's also a lot of fun. Like, I haven't been to Miami yet. I'm originally from Tampa, so the only thing I can compare downtown Orlando to is like Ybor City in Tampa and 6th Street in Austin. Like, it's just that many people. But also, downtown Orlando is a little unique because the hood is right there. Like, you have all the cities, and then the hood is like right behind it. Because, you know, in different cities, it's built weird, but the hood is it's right up on Orange Avenue, I believe it was called. So when I was in Orlando for school, I got a job singing at a nightclub, and I sang at that nightclub every Friday for like 6 months, and I had an hour set. And also when I was living in Orlando, I had a goal of performing twice a week, every week. So usually I would like do something, a random open mic or karaoke night in addition to that happening. And I made friends with a lot of the homeless people because I was constantly in downtown and there were a lot of homeless people. I was about 19 when I started hanging out there regularly. I had my first year in school, I lived on campus. Then we got sent home for COVID. My second year, I moved to our downtown campus for like 6 months, and then I got hired as an RA, and then I moved back to the main campus. But for a minute there, I was living downtown, so I was walking everywhere. I was getting to know everything. Like, it was very dangerous. There was a couple times I got grabbed off the street. That wasn't fun. Like, I was always concerned about people following me. And I mean, I had a friend too. One time he got jumped by some guy with a knife, and I think, oh yeah, sorry, my freshman year. I feel kind of bad about this because we had separated in the night, and I went off with some other people. My friend, I left him alone, and he told me, and this was like when I was 18. I'm gonna jump all over the place, but when I was 18 and one of my first like encounters of going to downtown Orlando, we got separated. I ended up going off with some other people, spent the night at some rando's house. Nothing happened. It was like 2 football players that used to go to Ave Maria in like South Florida somewhere. And I just like separated. We went with a bunch of people. My best friend at the time, he went off, I think, on his own, and then I went off with the other people. I don't know how we separated. I don't remember exactly. I just remember feeling guilty. And my friend, he ended up becoming an alcoholic, which is kind of sad, and that's why we fell out. But he said he got robbed in a alleyway, and he opened up his wallet and there was nothing in it, and they left him alone because of it. But I paint this picture to tell you, oh my God, I forgot about that too. Oh my God. So I had this artist friend. He was a painter. His name was Selfismo. He was from Cuba. He had one hand, and he would paint. And anyone who's been in Orlando has probably seen him. He has, there's a bar called the Bauhaus, and it has a lot of his work in it. I felt like he was my mentor at that time, because even though like he wasn't successful, a lot of people knew him locally, and he showed me what it meant to be an artist and what it meant to really value the art because of how much he loved it. But yeah, he came over from Cuba. I remember it was like a hard thing too for him to get his son over here. He finally got his son over here, and then he has a longtime girlfriend. But yeah, I met Selfismo, and oh yeah, that was his name. I can't remember if I wanted to say that or not, or if I already said it. But I met Selfismo, and I was very naive at the time because I was 19. And he painted like a picture for me, and I think he knew I didn't really have money because he never tried to sell me his art, but he would actually like draw art for me, and he always encouraged me to sing, and he believed so much in my singing, and it was really cool because when I had that show, it was just down the street. The bar was down the street. It was called Cocktails and Screams. It was just down the street from the bar he would paint at, the Bauhaus, where they hung all of his work. And he would come see me pretty often. But yeah, he always looked out for me. And I laughed earlier because I remember he punched a guy for me with like his one hand. I completely forgot this happened. But when I would have been 18 because I had toured the downtown campus by myself one day, just hopped on the UCF bus because I didn't have my car, hopped on the UCF bus toward the downtown campus, and then I don't even know if I bought food from the place. I just know I was sitting outside, and this random guy like comes up to me and he sits with me, and he was homeless. But I didn't know. Oh God, I think I told him too about how much I wanted to sing, and he was going on about us being like Jay-Z and Beyonce, and I think he talked like a lot of gibberish. And to be fair, like even though I grew up in Tampa, I think my parents did a great job at keeping me sheltered, even though I was working all the time. But I think they did a good job of keeping me sheltered, but like to my own detriment, because once I got out into the world, a lot of bad things happened, but I was also very oblivious to the bad things happening. But yeah, I was sitting having lunch with this homeless guy, and there were like other homeless people walking by, and I was confused why they knew each other. And this homeless guy, I feel like, I want to say he sang at some point. I can't remember, but I do remember he had like a soft drink. And he took the lid off, and there was like a straw on the lid, and he took it off, and he like skipped over and then planted it in like because you know there's like no plants anywhere, but he planted it in this pile of dirt. It was like for no reason, but I do remember that. And I remember him eating oranges too, because I always remember that. It was like oranges on Orange Avenue. And I gave him my phone number, and I really regretted it. And I think he wanted to go out with me again. But the part that's funny is, and maybe it was a different guy. Oh my God, I think it was a different guy. I don't think this is the guy that got punched. But the funny part was I did walk down the street a ways with him, and we got to like that really official looking building right before all the grass. And like all the homeless people were lying down, and he had like his homeless buddies, and then they started like calling out to him. like almost as if to tell him good job for like walking with me, because I think he was either holding my hand or he had his arm around my shoulders. I can't remember. But yeah, forgot about that guy. But there was another guy, it'll come back to me, but Selfismo, the artist, he did punch him with his one good hand, and that guy had been harassing me. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I did have a very strong memory of that. But anyways, back to my homeless friend who was murdered. Yeah, I don't feel like I was adequately prepared for the real world, because I grew up Catholic, and like you're supposed to be nice to all the homeless people and accepting, and you know, they like have so many resources for them. So every time I saw someone who was homeless, I felt bad. And now I don't really necessarily feel bad. Like I do, but I don't. I don't know. That's a hard one. I think I feel less bad when I see homeless men. When I see homeless women, that one gets me. But the homeless men, I do think life is a culmination of your choices. People who are set up really badly, I can understand like why something like that would happen to them. But anyways, back to my homeless friends. So well, he wasn't homeless. But I met this one guy named Time. And there were all of these outdoor musicians too. That's how like I met a lot of people. People would just be on the street doing art or painting. Time had a fucked up guitar. And to be honest, he really couldn't play it that well. But he was entertaining. He had like all the strings too, like going out this, like, you know how you're supposed to wrap it around the knot? He had them all going out. And I think he was missing one. And yeah, Time would just play for all the people walking in downtown Orlando, and then he would get tips, and that's how he survived. And it was very interesting to me because he told me, I'm assuming he got on drugs at some point. My little pumpkin. Yes, I know you're so loud. But I know he went to UCF because he made a joke about how he owed a bunch of student loans, but they were never going to find him. And he had a wife, but I don't remember what happened. They obviously weren't together anymore. But yeah, that's what Time would do. Side note too, but Time, I know Selfismo for sure. I would go with him to buy cigarettes, and I feel like Time did the same thing. But I think it was just Selfismo. But my happy story about Time, Time, one day he found a phone in the middle of the road, and he was so happy about this phone, this iPhone, and he was telling me that it was a gift from God. And he told me the way he found it was then I'm not sure if the scooters are still really popular down there, but he told me some kid was on a scooter, and then he fell off the scooter and his phone fell, and he scooted off and forgot his phone. And Time was telling me that that was a gift from God, and I just remember like not agreeing with his logic, but then kind of agreeing with it too, because maybe it was a gift from God. Yeah, that was Time. He was funny. And Time introduced me to this other guy. I can't remember the other guy's name. I want to say it started with a R. I'll just call him, it wasn't Ryan, but I'll call him Ryan. And this was right after COVID, and he had come down, which I did meet a couple of homeless people that did this. He came down from New York after COVID and came to Florida, and he had like some delusion as to why Florida was going to work out for him. I don't really remember why. I think part of it too, this was right after winter, so part of it was like it was freezing up there. And Ryan, Time introduced him to me. They had like immediately become friends. And Ryan, like off the rip, was telling me the sad story about his life, and he like lifted up his shirt and showed me where he had gotten stabbed in his chest. And I believe most of his family died from COVID. It was something weird. I think it was like both of his parents, and then he was the only one left, so he came down to Orlando. And I could be remembering this wrong, but this is how I remember it. And he had like a good impression on me. Like obviously like he was fucked up, but he was good to me. And I would see Time every week, and I would talk to Time, like every time I was there. But yeah, I was going into downtown at least twice a week, so every time I would see Time with his guitar, I'd talk to him. And I think I only saw Ryan maybe twice, and I did feel really touched by his story. And the next time I talked to Time, he wouldn't tell me like what happened to Ryan, because all of a sudden, like, Ryan was gone. I wasn't seeing Ryan anymore. And then he eventually told me that he heard that he got like jumped in an abandoned house, and that he had like some problems with, I guess, the other homeless people, and they killed him. Yeah. I think I was 20 at that point. Or it might have been 19 still, actually. I think I was 19. Yeah. Downtown was dangerous. I remember one time, like, this is why I always listen to my intuitive feelings too. And even my cards, I read my cards every day, and people make fun of me for it, but my cards have never been wrong. And especially when I was in that environment constantly, like out in the open, like anything can go wrong. Anything. And yeah, I remember one time, well, I'll tell you guys like the two most traumatic things, and then I'll say one happy thing, and then I think my story time will be over. But one time I was singing upstairs in a karaoke lounge. It was like Aloha, I think it was Aloha Beautiful it was called. I loved that place. I used to go there all the time, and that's how driven I was about singing too. I just did not care if no one was there. It was just my goal that I had to do for myself, to sing a 3-minute song and befriend like the DJs. And I was really working overtime at that point, because the whole time I was singing in the bars and getting around downtown, I was under 21. And I did drink, actually. But I quit drinking, I think, around when I turned 20, because then I realized I couldn't keep doing the shit I was doing and still be safe. So I still don't drink. But yeah, I think one of the most traumatic, I got like grabbed a couple times off the street. There's always like a worry of me getting kidnapped. Well, actually, I have some crazy stories. I used to jump on people's motorcycles on like the back of them. But one time, a security guard I knew, because that's how I got into everywhere. I would just befriend all the security guards. I just had another memory come back too. There was like a really nice place that this Cuban guy owned. And he used to get so mad every time I snuck in there, because he knew how old I was. Well, actually, at first he didn't know how old I was, and then he like sat me in this nice area and was trying to like buy me food. And then when I told him how old I was, he was shocked that I got in there, and that every time after that I got in there, it just irked him so bad. But yeah, back to this security guard. I watched him kick a guy down I at least watched him kick him down a flight of stairs. It was 2 flights. I only saw the bottom part. Reaper. See, he knows. I only saw the bottom part. And the guy, I believe it was his leg broke. I can't remember. And then I think he hit his head. But the thud was so loud. And then just watching, because I knew the security guard, and watching like the security guard's reaction afterwards, it was just so scary. It was like, wow, you did that on purpose. Like, granted, the guy was drunk and he was getting kicked out, but like this guy not only threw him down the stairs, after he threw him down the stairs, he like kicked him down like a little bit more. And then the police ended up getting involved, and then I believe that guy was fired for that. But it was just like seeing the switch in people flip. I'm sorry, I keep jumping everywhere, but back to the Aloha Beautiful place. When I was doing karaoke and my cards, I always listened to my intuition, always. And I knew something bad was gonna happen that night. And it was like, it had to have been like a Thursday or a Wednesday. I was there on a weird day, It was raining. No one was downtown. I think I was 20 at this point. But I was upstairs across the street in this bar, had a horrible feeling. It wouldn't go away. And when it finally went away, I decided to leave. And then, because I knew everyone, all the security guards, I didn't necessarily know all the owners to places, because I really, I was good at communicating, but I wasn't as good as I am now. Now, if I had to like redo it, I could do it over a lot better. But also, the people that worked down there trusted me because I was so young and I was known as a singer. I used to too. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep like drifting. But back to, I went downstairs, walked over to the security guards that I knew across the street, started talking to them, and I believe there was a police there. I can't remember, but all I remember is seeing these two bloody handprints like pressed up against a car, and they told me that a guy had just died there while I had been upstairs in the karaoke bar. 'Cause there was some like argument, something about I think a girl. It was two guys and a girl, and it was over the girl. I don't remember, but yeah, he died. I put myself in a lot of risky situations. I went and got a psychic reading yesterday, and the psychic, I was telling her about my life and some specific problems that I have, and she was like, oh yeah, you need to like move and change your number. And I was confused because I don't have any like pressing issues right now at all, and I think I just have a different way of compartmentalizing. You're very loud. Compartmentalizing. Stress is not the right word, and risk is not the right word either. Maybe not even reckless. I don't know. Orlando changed me very much though. And even being in like Atlanta now and seeing on the news and seeing all these horrible things happen, it's like, I just see them happen on the news. I don't see them happen in person anymore. Orlando is just crazy. I felt like I was in the middle of like everything. I remember even for 4th of July, and I still don't know if this is true or not, but there was one 4th of July and I was like convinced I couldn't listen to fireworks after that because I had such a bad panic attack. But there was a 4th of July where I went downtown to see the fireworks, and I thought I heard gunshots. And maybe I did, maybe I didn't, maybe it was just fireworks, but I thought I heard shit, and I had to get out of there. And the fireworks too in downtown, they echo off of all the buildings. So if I had or hadn't heard it, like I was at least hearing like a loud booming echo, and I had such a bad feeling. And the crazy thing was too, it was about maybe 2 years after I experienced that, and I was in Texas at that point, and it was 2022, and then I was seeing on the news all the people running in downtown Orlando at the 4th of July because fireworks had been shot. Yeah, I have so many stories. I might as well just turn this into a story time from start at least doing more. Reaper, you gotta stop. You're so loud. You're so loud. Yes, you see how many toys he's got back there in that basket? How many big size balls he has? And he only likes this one because he stole it. Because someone else liked it. But yeah, I'll start doing more story times. I've got like some crazy... There was a guy from the NFL who had the sickle cell disease, and he wanted to sign me to his label, and that was like a whole fucked up situation. I would love to do a story time on that. I think maybe that's what I'll start doing. Relive. It's not even like the glory days. These are like the fucking sick days. These are like, being in Orlando was such a grind. The only thing good about it was that because I was an RA, at least for the second half, and I was living on student loans, I wasn't worried about money. Like, it wasn't a goal for me. I didn't really understand it. I only understood that I had enough. Yes. Thanks for listening. Oh God, 25 minutes.